Okay. This is going into financial aid part three, and we're still on the student finances. In part two, where I left off last, I spoke about the website for you to refer to for IRS tax information and how your personal student finances will affect your financial aid application. All right, so back to the financial aid application. On section 3 of the financial aid application for the student finances, they basically want to know about your income if you have one, and you're basically going to be talking to them about whether you've already filed, will file, or you completed your tax return and sent it in. Those questions are, you know, basic yes, no, will not. Um, so that's pretty much the end of the student finances section 3. In section 4, the application for financial aid speaks about student household. They're pretty much they want to know who all makes up your household. How many people reside with you? How many people are in college? How many people are going to college within this year and the following year? The reason they ask those questions is because those particular questions about the household makes the difference between which educational credit or deduction you will receive, and also if you're entitled to a larger state refund in reference to the financial provisions you make for the students that are dependents of yours as parents. Um, that also goes into play for students who are independent, determining how much money they will receive for financial aid. So that's kind of important to look into and to maybe do a bit of a fine review of that section, because that's one of those sections on the financial aid application that directly reflects back to your IRS taxes and determines credits and deductions. Okay. All right. In section 5 on the financial aid application, this is going into parent finances. And here, students who don't want to provide information about their parents' finances in the beginning just to get the financial aid submitted, they're more than welcome to do that. They answer yes or no and submit the application with the understanding, if they answer no to not providing the parents' financial information at the time, that they will do it in the near future before they actually, receive the financial aid or be admitted to whatever college they're applying for. So that's the understanding, and that's the option in this parent finances portion of the application in section 5. Now there are a couple of things here that you might want to pay attention to on section 5 that pertain to, again, taxes information. You do that on a personal level. Decide what it is you want to put on here that coincides with your tax situation. Um, so that's section 5. After section 5, there's section 6, and section 6 talks about the student's assets and veterans benefits. Now this is a very special section because for all of those children or students that have parents that receive Social Security, or who are disabled and receive SSI or SSA, whichever one, or some other program in your particular state that deals with disability subsidies, this is the section that stuff goes on, that will increase the student's amount of financial aid. Like if a student has a parent who's the primary care provider, or who is the custodial parent that receives Social Security, this is where that information goes. Also, uh, IRA information, checking account information, pension information, annuity funds, life insurance, retirement plans, investment information. Um, if you own a farm, and there are people who own farms whose children apply to college. Don't think there aren't. That information goes here as well. Mortgage information. This particular section, students' assets and veterans benefits on section 6. Now, like I said, they might have changed some of the titles, but in those sections where you see these questions about student assets, here you might want to really slow down and pay attention to everything they're asking you, because this is where a lot of your determination or your eligibility for funding comes from as well. Okay? So just keep that in mind. And also, if you happen to have those 529 funds or accounts for students themselves or parents, however that goes, because I personally don't deal with that, because there are different penalties and restrictions to those accounts that make it where you can only remove that money that you've saved for college expenses and tuitions, whatever. And states are different with those 529s. I know here in New York State there are a lot of problems with it that I've run into. I would not suggest it, but if you like it, I love it. Do what's best for you. So this section 6 that talks about the student assets, that's where all of that kind of information will be applied. Section 7 is back to more parent information, and this section here speaks to just general information, like your parents' email if they have one, and this is for notification of when your financial aid application has been received, if it's been rejected, if it needs to have corrections. If in fact, like, you live in a state like New York State where you get two forms of tuition assistance programs, like TAP and Pell. This is where they would notify you once you fill out your financial aid application, that now you must turn around and fill out for your TAP application if you haven't already done so at the end of the Pell application. So it's just a reiteration of information about the parents' income, general information, name, date of birth, where they live, telephone number, how many people live in your household, how many people will be going to college. It's a repeat of the same thing asked of the student in the earlier section. And then also there's a part in section 7 about the parent information that goes again into the residency issue. And that is in regards for taxes, okay? So you might again want to look into those sections and see how they personally apply to you, and be guided by what's best for your household. All right? They give you a worksheet, and if it's not accessible on the internet through this application, pick up a paper and pencil and do it yourself before you submit the information. Section 8 is the federal school codes and the type of student you're going to be. If you're going to be a full-time, part-time student, living on campus, living off campus, living with your parents, that's where that information goes there. And then you have come to just about the end of the FAFSA application, pretty much knowing all of what the different sections involve. And that's basically it. So we've gone through that, and it's fairly simple. This is a older paper version of the FAFSA application from 2006 to 2007. Although part of the captions for the sections may have changed as far as the wording goes, they might not call it one thing or the other, but the sections remain the same. And when you fill this out online, you'll see what I'm talking about. It will clearly say student, let's go back to it, student information, student status, it'll clearly say that. And you will be going through the same exact questions that I went through on this worksheet. However, um, it will be the actual application and not the worksheet where you get to make mistakes and go back to it. If you make a mistake on this FAFSA application for financial aid, do not lose your mind over it. The only thing, oh, I've run out of time. I'll be back. Thank you.